Mark is crushed to hear that the person that he loves does not feel the same way about him. Hey my beautiful peeps, it's Char and welcome to Char TV. In today's video, I will be doing a recap on episode 6 of Love in Paradise. It is called Heartbeats and Heartbreaks. I'll be starting with Aryanna and Sherlon. Today, the girls are going off to see where Sherlon lives because Karen doesn't want to leave Jamaica without seeing where Aryanna will be staying. This will be also the first time that Aryanna is seeing where Sherlon lives. They arrive at Sherlon's home, which is in the real part of Jamaica, that Aryanna wouldn't feel as comfortable as she would staying at a resort. There's no warm water, the kitchen is small, bathroom is small, and Aryanna notices that there's some black pellets on the floor, which means that there are mice. Aryanna feels like the worst part of the home is the bathroom because there's no door. There's just a curtain that you have to pull across.
I mean, there's not a real door.
Pull the curtain, please.
I am. No door. And I'm like pregnant and I get like weird pregnancy diarrhea sometimes. That's just gonna be embarrassing. Nothing's gonna jump out and bite me, is it? I need my privacy when I go to the bathroom. I heard the fan is not working.
Aryanna hopes that spending the next few days together will help their relationship and, get them more connected. She also hopes that this will have Sherlon realize that he wants to move to America to help raise their son together. Karen and the sisters are leaving Jamaica today, and Aryanna is happy that they got to meet him. But she's also happy that now she gets alone time with Sherlon.
So when am I going to be seeing you next, Sherlon? It might be a year.
Might be 3 months or 4 months. We just have to wait and see how it goes.
Yeah, well, hopefully we get that paper.
He's definitely gonna do it, so you don't have to keep bringing it up.
When we met with the immigration specialist, she had said that if we filed the tourist visa now, there would be a 50-50 chance that Sherlon would make it to the U.S. in time for our child's birth.
Aryanna wants to make sure that everything gets done in terms of, getting a letter from the job to state that Sherlon is employed. She wants to do all this before she leaves Jamaica because she wants to make sure that it gets done. She arrives at Sherlon's place again, but this time to stay for the next few days. And Sherlon was kind enough to purchase a working fan. But Aryanna is still boiling to death. It's probably even more so hard for her because she's pregnant. It's going to be really tough for her to adjust. Now, Aryanna had brought over with her a heart monitor because she's been able to hear the heartbeat of her son, of course, but Sherlon has not. And because of that, the pregnancy hasn't seemed as real to Sherlon yet.
I'm stoked to hear the baby's heartbeat. Like in Jamaica, we say glad, or glad bag burst. Daddy's here, boy.
Do that.
This is what life's about,
He can't hear you.
Now, Sherlon has had his doubts about going to the US, but after hearing the heartbeat, he's going to do everything in his power so that he can be there for the birth of his son. Now, it's her first night being at Sherlon's place, and you think they'd be at it like bunny rabbits. But because she's pregnant, her sex drive has been low. However, it's nice to have the father of her son spoiling her. He's been getting her juice, he's been getting her snacks, he cooks for her. She's being well taken care of. It's Sherlon's opportunity now to take care of her because he hasn't been able to do so. Now that Aryanna's family has gone, Sherlon is taking her out on a nice romantic date. He's taken her to the Office of Nature Lobster Grill, which is his favorite lobster spot by the beach. Now, Aryanna hasn't had many dates with Sherlon, and she's always wanted a date night like this because now they feel like a real couple. So it means a lot to her. Then Sherlon asks Aryanna, how does her family feel about the name choice for their son?
My mom doesn't like it. My dad doesn't think it's that bad.
Isn't that their baby?
I know, but it's my baby, and I don't really like that name that much.
Odin means something to me. It's a Viking name. and my ancestors are Vikings.
Are you sure?
It's like ancestral name.
Yeah, I don't believe.
Sherlon says it's a strong name. Odin is an Asgard king, and he's like the Norwegian god. It means all father, and that's the reason that he chose it. Aryanna said that if they chose that name, then hopefully he'll be around. It's her biggest fear of giving her son Sherlon's first and last name, and then he's not around. And Sherlon's like, well, whose last name is the baby supposed to have? Aryanna said, well, the parent that's going to be around. Sherlon said, oh, no. He doesn't understand the American way of thinking, because in Jamaica, that's not how it works.
I have no guarantee that you're actually going to be around and contributing.
Whether I'm physically there now, the baby should have his father's name.
Right, but it can also be confusing being raised in a town where his dad is not around, wondering, why do I have this last name when all the family around me has this last name?
But isn't that your family's baby? Did your family get you pregnant?
It's important to Sherlon to pass on his name, because then it means that his name will live on forever. Now, if the child is given Aryanna's last name, then that means her legacy will continue and his will not. Aryanna needs to know that Sherlon will be present and will contribute. And Sherlon said, well, how do you know that I won't contribute? And Aryanna said, well, you haven't so far. She wants him to show more initiative, regardless of what it is. Sherlon said to her, well, you know what I was going through due to COVID? You know, he relies heavily on tourism, and sometimes he could hardly sustain for himself. Aryanna said that Sherlon doesn't understand the things that she's had to sacrifice for him. She's had to move back home with her mom to a town that she doesn't really like, because she can't raise a child by herself, you know, going to school, work. She's given up everything, and he hasn't given up anything. Sherlon said to her, well, you agreed to keep the child, yes or no? Again, dear, these are things you should have thought of before making a child with him. That's pretty much everything with Aryanna and Sherlon. Nothing too exciting. On to Mark and Kay. Mark has booked a night at a nice resort because he wants Kay to realize how important she is to him, and so that she will believe that he's 100% committed in the relationship. Kay says that Mark is sweet, attentive, and is trying to spoil her with the resort, which is what she expected on this trip. Now, Mark has a couple days left on the trip and doesn't want to spoil the vibe, but it's bothering him that Kay has not given him an answer as to what they had discussed before. Mark says that he can't live in limbo like that, and he wants a yes or no answer before he gets on the plane. He then says to her, what do you want to do with us?
I don't think possible the idea to move to California. I can do it. I'm happy here. I'm relaxed here.
Mark said that he was hoping that she would say yes. I had a feeling that she was not going to say yes. Kay says she doesn't know if she's in love with him to move to California. Mark said to her, that's cold. But Kay said, I'm just being sincere. Kay has a lot of love for Mark, but she's not in love with Mark. She thinks it's too soon to move to California, and she doesn't want to move to California when she's not even sure, because it's not going to result in anything good for the both of them. She doesn't want to hurt his feelings, but she also wants to be true to herself. She says that she will be fine being alone, but she will miss him. Mark is crushed to hear that the person that he loves does not feel the same way about him. And now he doesn't know what to do. He's going back home and she's staying there. They're probably not going to see each other again. He thought that Kay would be his future wife, but guesses that he was wrong. Once back at the resort, Mark and Kay decide to have some alone time away from each other to figure out what to do. During this time, Mark decides to speak to his friend. He tells her that he thinks him and Kay are over.
Why? What happened?
She's not in love with me right now.
Marky Mark! That's a big deal.
Yeah, I've opened up on this trip with her
more than I have my entire life of talking about my feelings or what I want for the future. But she is a day-by-day person.
He then tells her that Kay said no to moving to California. And she said, well, what are you going to do then? He said he wants to be with Kay. And that's why he wanted to put time and effort into the relationship. And if Kay told him that she wanted to move to California tomorrow, then he'd be like, okay, let's do it. And she said, well, that's a huge step for Kay to move to California. She's risking everything. Mark says, well, he doesn't want a long distance relationship or an open one. And she said to Mark, well, if you showed her more willingness to compromise, well, do you think that she would fall in love with you then? Mark says, well, he's not sure how to do that. And she said, maybe Kay had sensed that. And that could be the reason that she's not expressing that she's in love with him. Mark said, maybe, and he's not ready to give up just yet. That's pretty much all with Mark and Kate. Let's see what happens, because he's not letting this go. He's like a dog on a bone. On to Amber and Daniel. After speaking with David and Christine, Amber realized that she needs to chill a little bit because she doesn't want to lose Daniel. Daniel said that they need to find a way to communicate with each other because they both love one another. So he's planned a surprise for Amber. He's hoping that this trip will be fun for them, you know, and get them back on track. They hop on an ATV and ride through the jungle. It looked so beautiful. Now, Daniel planning this whole surprise for Amber shows her that he wants them to reconnect and turn this whole situation around. Now, Amber says to Daniel that she knows she hasn't been the easiest person to deal with, and for the past 12 months, she hasn't been herself. It's been a roller coaster ride of her trying to, you know, take care of the K1 visa and not really knowing what she's doing and having to work and take care of Daniel. The whole thing has been overwhelming for her.
Almost like the whole weight of the world is on my shoulders.
I always know you do all that stuff, and I appreciate that a lot.
But you have to understand, I took all that on, and I like to be perfect in everything I do, so I am stressed.
Amber has always been the kind of person to take charge and handle things, but this past year, she felt like she's losing a bit of control. Not being able to control things had her emotional and crazy, and that's why she was so hard on Daniel. Amber then apologizes to Daniel for overreacting with the whole bar incident. Daniel said he was mad about that and wondered why she did that to him. She then went on to explain that her insecurities came out because people would kind of be in her ear, like saying, well, what do you think that Daniel does on his spare time? You think that he's alone doing nothing? And especially with the age difference, she's concerned that somebody else, you know, that's younger, prettier, and smarter will catch his eye. Daniel said to her that she has to trust him and that she has his heart. He said to her, this can't happen again, especially if they're going to get married. Having trust is the most important thing in a relationship, and he wants to be the man that she wants him to be. That was really mature of him to say. Now, this is the first time that Amber has actually apologized first after a fight. So he sees that Amber is learning, and this makes him happy. He hopes that everything will be better when he moves to America. Amber is glad that they've had a chance to reconnect and actually feels that she can breathe now for the first time since being in Costa Rica. She's glad that he stayed by her side, but the biggest challenge is yet to come. They need to finish the visa application, and if it isn't done, then the visa is gonna get denied. So this relationship relies on the paperwork being done. Hopefully it will get done so they can move forward. That's pretty much all for that couple. On to the last couple, Steven and Martine. Steven slept on a couch after their big fight and now feels like they are miles apart. Martine is leaving Barbados in a couple of days and is having a hard time getting past with what she saw on Steven's phone. Tension is definitely present while they're eating breakfast, but Martine says she doesn't want to fight. They can just talk. Steven then goes on to say that he was hurt by her because she was accusing him of something that he didn't do. The first 5 months of their relationship, they were dating, messing around. She'd go to him and they'd have a great time. But to Steven, he didn't feel like there was a vibe that they were exclusive.
I was DJing on this party cruise in Barbados and I met this young lady. We had a mutual attraction for each other. and we exchanged numbers, and we just started to connect after that. It was just a fling. It wasn't really that meaningful to me. It was just me having fun, you know. And a month into seeing this person, I realized I really wanted to be with Martine, and the entanglement ended.
The fling had ended, and since then, Steven has been loyal and faithful to Martine. A year into the relationship, Martine went into Steven's phone and found stuff from this other girl. The cheating incident had ended 5 months ago, but the pain that Martine felt wasn't any less. And at that moment, Steven knew that he didn't want to hurt Martine again. Now, Martine admitted that going through his phone and looking at his messages was an invasion of privacy, and she shouldn't be doing it. She apologized and said that she wouldn't do it again. Steven said to Martine that she can trust him, and Martine tries to trust him, but it's hard when that trust has been broken. But she doesn't want to be on his case all the time and to have the relationship being one where there's no trust. She wants him to work harder on her giving a reason to trust him. Steven said for the past 2 years, he's been working on rebuilding trust, but he feels that Martine makes things up sometimes as a way of getting out of the relationship. Martine says that she doesn't want to run away from things, but she just has an instinct.
I've been trying to move past his cheating for 2 years, but I honestly struggle with it. And I feel like I've been pouring salt in my own wounds. Like, I kind of been torturing myself. I think part of me doesn't let it go, because if I keep it in the forefront, I won't be as shocked if he happened to cheat on me again. But I feel like it's now time to forgive Steven and actually forgive him, or I have to get out of this relationship.
Steven admits to making mistakes in the past, but he just wants to be with Martine, but will do better for her and hopes that she can find it in her heart to see it that way. Now, Steven can feel that Martine is distant, and he's been avoiding serious conversations throughout the trip. He realized that he's going to have to show her something of significance because he doesn't want to lose her. Now, does that mean he's going to give her that crystal clear? That diamond clear? I guess we'll have to wait and see. That's pretty much everything with Steven and Martine. I can't wait to see what happens. That's everything to my recap. It was an alright show, nothing crazy exciting. I knew that Kay was gonna say no tomorrow. I feel bad for the guy, but hey, at least she's being honest, right? It's better that she's honest than she goes there and she's freaking miserable. As for Amber and Daniel, it looks like things might turn around for them. And Aryanna and Sherlon, hopefully they can get the ball rolling with the application. Let me know your thoughts on the episode. Drop your comments below so I can give you all a shout out. Thanks for watching, my beautiful peeps. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!